In the quaint coastal town of Willowmere, the crisp sea air mingled with secrets, and none were more adept at uncovering them than Elise Durant, a talented young journalist with an unyielding spirit. Elise's latest assignment was to interview the enigmatic Aidan Shaw, a successful but reclusive artist known as much for his shroud of mystery as his revolutionary artwork. Upon arriving at Aidan's cliffside estate, Elise felt an unexpected jolt through her spine. The sprawling modern house, with its glass walls and stark, shadowy contrasts, seemed as much a fortress guarding secrets as it was a home. She was greeted at the door by Aidan himself, whose intense gaze and slight frown made Elise momentarily forget her professional poise. Aidan was both unsettling and utterly compelling. Their interview began in his studio, a vast room cluttered with canvases. Some were serene, others tumultuously vibrant. Elise's eyes were drawn to one painting, the dark silhouette of a man against a backdrop of stormy sea skies. She asked about it, and for a fleeting moment, Aidan's polished facade faltered. "It's nothing," he murmured, quickly changing the subject to discuss his use of color. But Elise saw the pulse quicken in his neck, heard the heaviness in his tone. As days followed, Elise's professional interest in Aidan Shaw veered unsettlingly close to personal. She felt tethered to the mystery of the man and his art, each brushstroke seeming to whisper secrets meant only for her ears. Investing herself in the enigma of Aidan's past and the fervor stirring in her heart, she continued meeting him under the guise of needing more for her article. One evening, as twilight bled into night, Aidan invited Elise to a cove below his house, a place where the waves crashed like the beats of a desperate heart against the shore. The air was thick with brine and tension. Elise shivered, not from the cold, but from anticipation. Aidan stood beside her, his eyes reflecting the moonlight, revealing a depth she hadn't seen before. "I come here to think," Aidan confessed, his voice barely above the roar of the waves. "There's something I haven't told anyone, not because I want to deceive, but because I fear the consequences of truth." Elise turned to him, her journalistic instincts ignited by his tremulous tone. "Your secrets are safe with me," she assured, though she knew she risked more than her professionalism. Aidan's gaze met hers, a storm of emotions warring in his eyes. He spoke of a tumultuous past, a wrong choice that led to a tragic event, and how his art was his redemption and his curse. The silhouette in the painting was him, a man caught in his own storm. As the story poured from him, the pieces of the shadowy puzzle fell into place. Elise realized the man she sought to uncover through her article was now revealing his truest self, not because of her questions, but because of her presence. That night, something shifted. The journalist and the subject, the seeker and the giver of secrets, they walked back up the cliff path knowing that their story had just begun. Trust, like the first brushstroke on a blank canvas, was fragile and needed care, but it was a start. Elise's article would eventually read differently than she planned. There were details she chose to keep, not out of deceit, but respect. And as she wrote the final words, she realized she didn't just leave with a story, but with a heart terrifyingly and exhilaratingly intertwined with another's. In Willowmere, where the sea knows all secrets, two more were safely kept, guarded by the shadows, but illuminated in love.